Hi everyone, it's Claire back again. So I'm going to do another ROYGBIV video today. This is going to be cool toned versus warm toned. But before I start, let me show you what's on my nails. I've been taking some tips on reverse stamping from Catherine, Mrs. Cronall, who's doing an amazing job with nail art and stamping. I used the Essence Outer Space Stories Mermaid of the Galaxy that Catherine sent me as a base, and what I really like about this is I actually used a matte top coat, but the kind of shimmery polish, you can still see that underneath, so it provides the contrast with the cream. I used Orly Snow Cone and Orly's another dark navy Orly that I can't remember the name of now, and for the green I used the the Crayola Granny Smith green, and I just really like this design. I'm really quite pleased with it, so I thought I'd do a video just to show off this manicure. Seriously, I wanted to go through this ROYGBIV because I used to be quite confused when I started collecting nail polish about what is cool toned, what is warm toned, all the different descriptions. So you can get like dusky, blue leaning, greyed out tends to be cool tone description, and for warm toned polishes they do tend to be more bright, they're definitely more red or pink leaning, and there's more of a warm depth to them. But for me, I like all nail polishes, but I do tend to favour cool tones. If you have a look through my Instagram feed, you can see quite clearly that I prefer cool toned polishes. Every now and again I do like a bright warm toned polish, so I do have them, but I tend to favour cool toned. Okay, so let's make a start. So I'm going to do this as a kind of versus, cool toned versus warm toned. So we've got two reds here. This is OPI, the clues in the name there got the blues for red, and if you take it away from the other red that's next to it, I think you can see quite clearly that there's a coolness, like a blue tone to this red. I do like this red. I haven't worn it very often. It's a very kind of deep wine colour, but there's definitely a blue cast to it, especially when you compare it to this one. This is China Glaze Kiki in Artiki, and this was from the Paradise collection, which was one of the only polishes that I liked from this entire collection. Now this has got a very kind of orange warm tone to it, which makes it, I know that they're very different types of red. This is much paler, but I think you can see the difference there. This is cool toned and this is warm toned. And on the swatch wheel, so that's got the blues for red, and this one here is Kiki and Artiki. Okay, so yellow is going to be difficult because yellow is warm toned generally. But the two that I've got here, this one to me, there's a slight duskiness to it. I know it's a pastel yellow. This is Revlon Buttercup. When I pick them up all the time, look, when I 50p. Whenever I see them in pound shops, I always pick them up because this is a great yellow, especially like, you know, if you like wearing pastels in the spring. But to me, this is more, of all the yellows that I've got, is slightly cool toned. Whereas this yellow here, this is my twin Mimi from the Hello Kitty collection. This was sent to me by Loopy Frog, and this is a bright, warm sunflower yellow. And I think if you put the two together, you can see the difference. Not necessarily in the shade, but just in how the shade leans. This is definitely warmer, and this is definitely cooler. Let's have a look on the swatch wheel. This is my twin Mimi, which is on the warm side. And this one here is Buttercup, which is definitely a cooler shade. Okay, so because I'm in the UK, we have pink in our rainbow, and I have two pinks here. This is Jardin de Roses from L'Oreal. It was Rita at Rita Beauty Nails that encouraged me to get this. She said that it was one of her favourite pinks, and I do love this pink. It's very, very similar to the pink from the Paradise collection, actually. It's a dupe, so I destashed that one and kept this one because it's such a great formula. And this is another great formula. This is Be Awesome Tonight, and there's definitely a blue tone. You can see more here around the base. There's more of a blue tone to this pink, and this has got a slight bit of coral in it, so it warms it up considerably. So I think you can see the difference there in the warm tone and the cool tone quite clearly in this pink. And on the swatch wheel, you can see this is a very warm pink. So that's the L'Oreal. And then this one here is Be Awesome Tonight from Essence, which is on the cool side. Okay, so I've got two greens here. This is interesting because they are similar in terms of them both being pastel greens, but this one is definitely a warmer toned green, so there's much more yellow in that, which warms it up a little bit, and whereas this one has got a little dash of a kind of greyed out quality to it. This is Refreshment from China Glaze, one of my favourites. There's a kind of muted quality to this green, whereas this is quite bright. So yeah, this is the warm toned and this is the cool toned green. And on the swatch wheel, this one is the warm toned Take a Break from Essie, and this one here you can see it's got quite a bit of blue in that, I think, and that's Need a Refreshment from China Glaze. So now we move on to the orange. The warm toned orange was quite easy, but the cool toned orange was difficult. I know this is more of a kind of neutral terracotta, but there is a bit of an orange tone to it, but you can see the difference there, the warm toned and the cooler toned. It was the only orange that I have that spoke to me as a kind of cooler toned orange, and I think because it's got the silver shimmer in there as well. This is from the Stoned Crystal Shimmer collection, and this is Claymy. Yeah, I stumbled across this one in a TK Maxx a few months ago, and it was just all across, it was really crusty and it took me ages to clean it up, but I love this collection. So this one is Claymy, the cool toned orange, and this one here is H&M Orange Koi. On the swatch wheel there is quite a difference between these two. This is the warm toned ROYGBIV, and that's quite a bright but still a sort, I don't know, it's like a burnt orange, but there's quite a lot of red in there. I mean, it's very similar to Kiki and Artiki, but it's definitely an orange, very warm toned. And this one is Claymy, which is the cooler toned, which is much more of a neutral shade for me. But yeah, that was a difficult one, orange. Purple is a bit easier because purple you can quite easily distinguish between a pink toned purple and a blue toned purple. And this is what I've come up with here. This is Temptation from Cuccio, which has got quite a lot of pink in there. I mean, I don't know, I would still say there's quite a bit of blue in here, but there's also the pink. And compared to this one, I think this looks much warmer than this, and this has got lots of blue in it. This is Lost My Bikini in Molokini, which is very similar to the Pantone Colour of the Year, Ultraviolet, which is a very blue toned purple. So yeah, that's purple. And on the swatch wheel, this is what a warm toned purple looks like on me, and I much prefer the cooler toned purple. I just love this shade. So that's purple. Finally, this was the most difficult. I almost didn't do this video because I just couldn't find a warm toned blue. It was just doing my head in for days and days and days. Anyway, I think I've managed to come up with a solution for it. Let me show you first. This is a very, very cool toned blue. This is from Kiko, and it's number, I think it's number 48. I know there's a couple of numbers here, but I think it's this one. If you look on the website, you can find out the name for them. I don't know why they don't put them on the bottles. This is a great formula, and it's a very, very dusky, greyed out, cool toned blue. And then, this is what I came up with for a warm toned blue. I thought, I wonder if I've got anything that's actually got red in it. And I remembered I had this beautiful Opulent Essences, which is called Fire in the Sky. So this is my version of a warm toned blue. I don't know, I think it's more of a feeling. I get more warmth from this one than I do from this. But trying to judge a warm toned and a cool toned blue is very difficult. If you can help me out in the comments and you've got any suggestions for a warm toned blue, please let me know. And on the swatch wheel, this is the Kiko. It's a beautiful kind of dark greyed out cadet blue, and this is the warm toned blue, Fire in the Sky. I do love this. It's very pretty and unusual with those red flakes in there. So let's have a look at this swatch wheel. Let's recap. Can you remember which one is the warm side and which is the cooler side? So definitely the duskier side, blue leaning greyed out, is more this side, and the warm tone bright red leaning shades are this side here. So if I cover this, that's the warm tones, and that's the cool tone ROYGBIV. So what do you prefer? What suits your skin tone more? The whether or not a polish leans cool or warm. I do like these bright sometimes, although quite often my skin tone, as you can see, is really quite a reddish pink. So sometimes it can clash with my skin tone. I have to be quite careful. Whereas the cooler tones tend to just cool that redness down. That's what I think anyway. You could look at this and think, oh no, it actually clashes. But to me, I feel more comfortable and I gravitate much more towards the cooler tones. Although, as you can see, I do have quite a lot of bright, warm-toned polishes. So let me know what you think. Have you got any suggestions for cool-toned versus warm-toned different shades? Let me know what you lean towards, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!